picture a billion-dollar network taken down by a single word printed in a manual. That word is admin, and that is exactly where we are starting today. Welcome back to Professor Erica, and today we continue Chapter 3 of the Network N10-009 journey with network device hardening.
Erica, let us be honest up front. Most networks are not breached by some cinematic zero-day. 2. They are breached because a switch still ships with admin/admin, a wireless access point still answers on telnet, and the SNMP community string is still literally the word public. Hardening fixes that entire class of avoidable mistake.
And the frameworks agree. NIST, Special Publication 8533 Control CM. 6 configuration settings requires a secure baseline for every information system, and the Center for Internet Security publishes CIS benchmarks for over 100 platforms. You are never alone when you harden a device.
Here is the simple version. Hardening means 3 moves. Remove the defaults, cut the services you do not use, and force every remaining way in to be authenticated and encrypted. If you remember those 3 moves, the rest of today is just filling in the steps.
And the stakes are real. One unhardened edge device can give an attacker a foothold inside your entire perimeter, and then every other control you invested in stops mattering. Stick with us through Scene 6, because we will close on the firmware and backup habits that keep the rest from decaying over time. Panel check before the main event.
For all way to bang to argue. I came to argue in good faith. Notto, mostly.
Corey here, Hype Crew, reporting in. This is gonna be fun.
Lewis here, Elder Statesman today. I will keep the long view on.
Lugamix, time to start.
Imagine handing a burglar the master key to every front door in your apartment building and then acting surprised when the building gets robbed. Hi, that is exactly what default credentials do. Every router, switch, access point, printer, and IP camera ships with a vendor-defined admin account, and those credentials are printed in the manual anyone can download.
And attackers have automated this for a decade. The Mirai botnet, first observed in August 2016, used a built-in list of 62 default username and password combinations to compromise internet-connected cameras, routers, and DVRs. It did not guess. It just tried the manuals.
The result was the October 21st, 2016 distributed denial of service attack against Dyn domain name system, which took down Twitter, Netflix, Reddit, and much of the consumer internet across the United States and Europe for most of the workday. Default passwords did that, not some nation-state cyber weapon.
And then the Mirai source code got published on hack forums by an account called SNMP on September 30th, 2016, so every copycat botnet since has inherited the same default credential trick. The list of passwords it tries is public, and it still works.
Here is the cure in 3 moves. Change every default credential before a device ever gets an IP address. Enforce a complexity and length policy, so the replacement is not password 123.
And then rotate those credentials whenever an admin leaves the team. That is the whole discipline in one breath. And right after this scene, we show what happens when even one of those 3 steps gets skipped on production gear.
For the exam, remember that default credential management is an organizational process under Network N10-009 Objective 3.2. If you see a scenario where a new device is being provisioned, the first hardening step is always to change the default admin account before connecting the device to the production network.
Move 2 in the hardening checklist, disable unused services, and every service listening on a device is a potential door. If you do not use it, do not leave it unlocked. Start the hardening pass by asking which services this device actually needs to do its job.
That list almost always includes shutting down telnet, HTTP, administration, TFTP, finger, and proprietary discovery protocols you do not use. Leaving them enabled is like installing 5 extra front doors on a house because the builder offered them for free. More doors, more locks to pick.
Unused physical ports deserve the same treatment. Core. An open switch port in a conference room is an invitation. Best practice is to administratively shut the port or place it in a dedicated unused virtual LAN that routes nowhere, so a rogue laptop cannot simply plug in and join the data network.
And the management interface itself needs to be cordoned off. A switch that accepts SSH. From the production data, virtual LAN is one compromised workstation away from full network control. Move management to a dedicated out-of-band virtual LAN that only admins can reach, and keep it off the internet entirely.
The mental model is simple. Production traffic on one plane, management traffic on another. The planes should not cross without a firewall and an access control list in between. TOW. That single pattern stops most lateral movement cold.
Like quick exam cue. If the question mentions a management virtual LAN, out-of-band access, or disabling telnet in favor of SSH, you are in Objective 3.2 territory. Stick around through Scene 6, because the management plane story is only safe when you pair it with the firmware and rollback habits we cover at the end of this episode.
SNMP is like the walkie-talkie every device on your network uses to shout its health status back to the monitoring platform. SNMP stands for Simple Network Management Protocol, and it collects performance data and alerts from switches, routers, firewalls, and printers. The old versions of that walkie-talkie broadcast on an open channel, and that problem has been documented for over 20 years.
Fleet, SNMP, version 1 and version 2. See both transmit the community string as clear text over the network, per RFC 1157. Anyone who captures the traffic with Wireshark can read the credential and then query or reconfigure every device that trusts it. That is not a theoretical risk. That is a 5-minute lab.
And if you are still running default community strings like public for read access and private for write access, attackers do not even need to sniff. They just guess the industry standard words, which have been unchanged for decades. That combination is how entire device fleets get inventoried by outsiders.
SNMPv3 is the fix. It was standardized in RFC 3411333418, published in December 2002, and it introduces the user-based security model. Instead of a single shared community string, you get per-user credentials with proper authentication and encryption.
SNMPv3 defines 3 security levels worth memorizing. authNoPriv has no authentication and no encryption. authNoPriv authenticates the user but sends data in clear text, and authPriv authenticates and encrypts the payload. Only authPriv is acceptable for production monitoring.
And please do not tell me your team still runs V2C because the monitoring vendor licensed it cheaper. That is a risk transfer argument that the auditor will not accept. Drop the legacy community strings, migrate to SNMPv3 authPriv, and treat anything else on your network as a finding waiting to be written up.
For the exam, the easy memory hook is B stands for vulnerable on versions 1 and 2C, and V stands for verified on version 3. If the scenario involves confidential monitoring traffic or compliance grade management, the correct answer is SNMPv3 with authPriv.
TAY. Think of the management plane like the door behind the counter at a bank. 2 ways in, 2 different locks. Telnet and SSH. For the command line, HTTP, and HTTPS, for the web. Only 2 of those 4 should ever be enabled in a modern network, and you can probably guess which 2.
Telnet runs on TCP, port 23, and transmits everything in clear text. Your username, your enable password, and every command you type are visible to anyone on the path. In 2026, if a device still answers on port 23, that is a broken deployment, not a configuration choice.
SSH runs on TCP, port 22, and was standardized in RFC 4251 in January 2006. It encrypts the entire session, authenticates the server with a host key, and supports public key authentication for admins, SSH. Replaces telnet cleanly, and every vendor has supported it for nearly 2 decades.
The web console follows the same rule. In HTTP, add admin pages, send credentials in Cleartext HTTPS. Admin pages wrap the session in transport layer security. Turn off HTTP, turn on HTTPS, install a real certificate, and make sure the administrative URL is only reachable from your management network.
Lewis, that last point is where access control lists come in. On the management interface, apply an access control list that only permits connections from your admin jump host or your out-of-band management subnet, even if SSH, and HTTPS are enabled. An access control list makes sure nobody else can even try to log in.
And while you are at it, stop storing admin passwords locally on every device. Centralize authentication with TAC ACS Plus or Radius, log every command with an accounting server, and suddenly you can deprovision a departed admin in one place instead of sweeping every switch in the building. That is real hardening.
For the exam, SSH replaces telnet, HTTPS, replaces HTTP and ACLs, plus centralized authentication together form the Secure Management Baseline. That phrase, Secure Management Baseline, is the one CompTIA keeps circling back to.
Let us close with the 2 habits that keep everything we just covered from rotting over time: firmware updates and configuration backup with rollback. Without both, a hardened device drifts back into vulnerability on its own schedule.
POSIS to ear and to firmware needs a cadence. Most mature teams run a monthly or quarterly patch window for routine updates, plus an emergency out-of-band process for critical common vulnerabilities and exposures. The asset inventory should record the current firmware version on every device, so you can see at a glance what is behind.
Core, I would add 1 step. Test every firmware release in a lab or on a non-critical branch before you roll it to the core. Vendors occasionally ship bugs that break core features in production, and a 20-minute lab test is much cheaper than a midnight rollback call on a core switch.
And configuration backup is the seatbelt for everything else. Every device config should be exported to a secure backup repository after every change. Without that, one typo can take down a site for hours while you rebuild the running config from memory.
Keep at least the last 3 known good versions, so you have real rollback options, not just the latest snapshot. The rollback discipline pairs with change management. Revert to the previous known good config in minutes, not hours.
Here is the anchor line for the whole video. Hardening is not a one-time project. It is a living baseline you maintain through patched firmware, backed up configs, and management access that stays encrypted and scoped. Keep that baseline current, and most of the attacks you read about in the news never reach your network.
Tell us in the comments which device class is hardest to keep hardened in your environment, whether that is access points, printers, or forgotten Internet of Things gear. We read every reply. Let us see what stuck with 3 quick questions.
Okay, it is quiz time. Let's find out what stuck. Think through each question carefully before you answer.
Every like helps the algorithm notice us. Every subscriber keeps us making more. Do both. It takes 2 seconds.
A. New wireless access point is being deployed at a branch office. Following Objective 3.2 hardening guidance, Which action should the technician complete before connecting the device to the production network? The correct answer is D. Change the vendor default administrator credentials and enforce a complexity policy on the new password.
Your monitoring team is currently polling every network device using SNMP version 2C with the community string set to the word public. The security officer asks you to remediate the finding. Which configuration change is the correct long-term fix? The correct answer is C. Migrate all devices to SNMPv3 configured at the authPriv security level with per-user authentication and encryption.
An auditor finds that a core switch accepts administrative connections over telnet on port 23 and over HTTP on port 80 with no access control list restricting source addresses. Which combination of changes best aligns with Network N10-009 hardening guidance? The correct answer is B. Disable telnet and HTTP, enable SSH and HTTP, and apply an access control list that permits management connections only from the out-of-band admin subnet.
Quick recap before we wrap. Device hardening under Network N10-009 Objective 3.2 boils down to 3 moves. Remove vendor defaults, disable unused services, and force every remaining way in to be authenticated and encrypted. The Mirai story is the reason defaults come first.
SNMPv1 and v2c send the community string in cleartext, so SNMPv3 at the authPriv security level is the only acceptable monitoring configuration for a modern network. HTTP get replaced by SSH and HTTPS, and access control lists plus TACS plus or radius lock down the management plane itself.
Firmware updates on a cadence, lab testing before production changes, and configuration backups with at least 3 known good rollback versions are the habits that keep the baseline current. Without those, a hardened device drifts back into vulnerability on its own schedule.
Coming up next in the playlist, we move from hardening individual devices to the tools that keep a whole estate consistent. The next episode covers network access control, IP address management at scale, and configuration management tools, and it builds directly on the baselines you just learned.
If this lesson helped you study, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you do not miss the next Network Plus episode. Drop a comment telling us which hardening control your team still struggles to enforce, and we will cover the hardest ones in a future deep dive.
That is a wrap on network device hardening. History teaches those who listen. Paul. Till next time. Lewis, signing off.